In the dim light of the command center, Queen Illyria's slender form was a silhouette against the vast star map blinking on the screen. The neon contours of galaxies and star systems painted her worried expression with an otherworldly glow. She was a vision of alien royalty, tall and ethereal, her skin shimmering with a subtle iridescence that spoke of her celestial lineage. But her eyes, those deep pools of midnight blue, carried a weight that belied her ethereal beauty. The prophecy, her advisor, Vyrek, a creature both aged and wise, broke the silence with a voice that seemed to tremble with the weight of stars. It speaks of a union, my queen, a union with a being not of our world. Illyria's gaze didn't waver from the star map. Somewhere out there, amid the tangled threads of light and darkness, lay her realm's salvation. Her voice was soft, yet it carried the force of her resolve. Then we must find this human. If mating with one will save our people, I shall do it. The council members shifted uncomfortably in their seats, their bodies a cacophony of otherworldly hues and shapes. To suggest that their queen, the epitome of their civilization's purity and power, should bond with a human, a species they regarded as barely more than barbaric, was a blasphemy too profound for many. Yet, the queen's decision was final. The ancient texts were clear. Only through this union could their kind be saved from the creeping decay that threatened their stars. The sickness had come without warning, a plague that drained their energy cores and left their children weak and fading. Vyrek stepped closer, his own form a stark contrast to Illyria's grace, hunched and gnarled like an ancient tree. We have scoured the sectors, Highness. There is one planet, Earth, where these humans thrive. They are many, and they are diverse. Finding the one foretold in the prophecy will not be simple. Illyria turned from the map to face her advisor. Then we must not delay. Prepare the portal. I will go myself. The decision sent a murmur through the chamber. To venture forth herself was risky, unprecedented. But Illyria was no ordinary ruler. Her reign had been marked by bold decisions and bolder actions. This would be no different. As the preparations for her journey began, Illyria retired to her quarters. The room was a sanctuary of tranquility, adorned with the soft bioluminescent flora of her home world. She stood before a mirror, studying her reflection. The queen who looked back at her was a leader, a savior, a bearer of her people's hopes. But beneath that, there was a trace of something else, a flicker of fear, of uncertainty. Am I to become a mother to a child half mine, half other? She whispered to her reflection. And in doing so, can I truly save us all? As the stars outside her window marched slowly across the sky, Queen Illyria made her choice. She would carry her doubts with her to Earth, masked beneath the armor of her royal duty. For her people, for her dying stars, she would cross the cosmos. And perhaps, in the eyes of a human, she would find not only the key to their survival but something akin to understanding, or dare she think it, kinship. The journey ahead was fraught with unknowns, but Illyria was ready. The fate of a queen, and the future of her people, now hung in the balance. As the first light of dawn touched her window, Illyria turned away from her reflection, a silent vow made. The portal awaited, and with it, her destiny. Queen Illyria's arrival was a silent spectacle, a cascade of shimmering light that coalesced into form on the outskirts of a sprawling human city. She materialized beneath the cloak of night, her presence as unassuming as a whisper, yet it reverberated through the alleys and streets with an ethereal chill. The city was alive with the hum of activity. Neon signs blinked incessantly, casting colorful reflections on the wet asphalt. Humans bustled about, their faces lit by the artificial glow of their devices, unaware of the cosmic drama unfolding just beyond their perception. Illyria moved with purpose, her form adapting to the earthly environment. Her royal garments transformed into simpler attire, a blend of fibers that mirrored human fashion yet felt alien against her skin. She observed the humans closely, their interactions filled with hurried gestures and fleeting connections. It was a chaos of existence so different from the structured harmony of her own world. In her search for the one prophesied to help her, Illyria sought out the fringes of human knowledge. Her first encounter was with a scientist, Dr. Elias Harrow, known among his peers for his research on interstellar biology. His lab was cluttered with equipment and papers, the air thick with the scent of chemicals and stale coffee. Dr. Harrow initially mistook her for a student or a journalist. It wasn't until Illyria revealed her true form, letting her skin shimmer with the light of her home star, that he understood the gravity of her visit. The revelation shook him to his core, yet his scientific curiosity sparked with vigor. "You're telling me that your survival depends on mating with a human?" Dr. Harrow adjusted his glasses, his voice a mix of incredulity and fascination. "And not just any human, but one specific individual?" "Yes," Illyria replied, her voice even. "The texts speak of genetic compatibility so profound that it transcends our species' boundaries. It is not merely survival, Dr. Harrow, it is renewal." Dr. Harrow agreed to help, driven by a blend of altruism and the uncharted scientific territory that Illyria's proposal represented. Together, they set out to pinpoint the genetic markers that would identify the prophesied human. Their work was meticulous, combing through databases and genetic repositories, searching for the needle in the haystack of humanity. As days turned into nights and back again, Illyria experienced the human world not just as a monarch on a mission, but as a living being among others equally alive. The city's rhythms became familiar, its noises less jarring. She learned of human joys and sorrows, of their capacity for great kindness and destructive indifference. One evening, as she walked through a park watching families enjoy the fleeting warmth of a setting sun, Illyria realized she was no longer just an observer. She felt a pang of kinship, a connection fostered by shared experiences, by the simple act of walking the same paths and breathing the same air. But amidst this growing connection, the urgency of her mission remained. Each passing day reminded her of the fading light of her people waiting in the stars. The weight of her crown, invisible yet ever-present, pressed upon her with renewed force. As Illyria and Dr. Harrow drew closer to finding the prophesied human, the complexity of their task became clear. It was not just about saving a dying race, it was about intertwining destinies, about bridging the vast expanse between stars with a single, profound act of unity. As the search intensified, the nights grew longer in the lab with Dr. Harrow and Illyria poring over data, their eyes heavy with fatigue yet fueled by a relentless drive. The cold glow of the computer screens cast an eerie pallor on their faces as they delved deeper into the genetic intricacies that separated and yet could possibly unite two species. The air was thick with the metallic tang of electricity and determination. During one of these long nights, a breakthrough shimmered through the data like a star piercing the night sky. They had found a match, an individual whose genetic blueprint resonated with the patterns described in the ancient texts Illyria had brought with her. This person, an environmental activist named Luca Martin, was currently leading conservation efforts in the dense rainforests of South America. His life's work to preserve Earth's biodiversity unknowingly aligned with the cosmic balance Illyria sought to restore. Illyria felt a surge of hope mixed with a complex knot of apprehension. The reality of what she must do began to settle around her like a heavy cloak. Would Luca accept the truth of his role in this interstellar narrative? The weight of her duty bore down upon her, each step towards Luca a step into the unknown. Together with Dr. Harrow, Illyria prepared for the expedition to the rainforests. Their equipment was minimal, designed to cause as little disruption as possible. As they trekked through the dense undergrowth, the sounds of the earth were raw and pulsating around them. The chirping of insects, the call of distant animals, and the rustle of leaves spoke of a world vibrant with life. When they finally found Luca, he was deep in conversation with local guides, discussing strategies to combat the encroachment of deforestation. His passion for the earth was evident in his animated gestures and fervent discourse. Illyria watched him from a distance, her heart caught between admiration and the heavy burden of her request. That night, under the canopy of the rainforest with fireflies dancing around them like living embers, Illyria approached Luca. Her explanation of the situation, of who she was and why she sought him out, unfolded beneath the ancient trees that seemed to listen in silent judgment. Luca's initial reaction was one of disbelief, a natural response to a tale so fantastic it bordered on myth. But the earnestness in Illyria's eyes and the undeniable evidence Dr. Harrow provided swayed him from skepticism to a cautious curiosity. Saving your people by this union with me? It sounds like something out of an old science fiction novel, Luca said, his voice tinged with awe and uncertainty. It is much more than that, Illyria responded, her voice a gentle echo in the forest. It is about survival, not just of my people, but of the balance between our worlds. Your dedication to preserving life here mirrors the essence of what we strive to achieve across the stars. The discussions that followed were intense and filled with a palpable tension. Luca grappled with the enormity of the task. It was not just about the physical union but the symbolic gesture of intertwining their destinies, a gesture that held implications far beyond their individual lives. As the moon cast its silver light through the leaves, illuminating the faces of human and alien, a decision loomed large. Luca's commitment to Earth's biodiversity had always been driven by a belief in making a difference, in leaving a legacy of conservation. Now, he faced a choice that could extend his legacy beyond the boundaries of his planet. The night grew quiet as both parties retreated into their thoughts, the air thick with the weight of decisions yet to be made and destinies yet to be sealed. In the quiet that followed their deep discussions, the forest seemed to hold its breath, waiting for Luca's decision. The enormity of the choice before him was not lost on any of them. He walked alone along the river, the water reflecting the chaotic dance of his thoughts as they mirrored the turbulent flow. After a night spent under the stars, wrestling with the implications of his potential role in this cosmic saga, Luca returned to the camp at dawn. His face was set, his decision made. I believe in the cause of life, in all its forms, he announced, his voice firm with resolve. If my part in this is to help save another world, how could I refuse? Illyria's relief was palpable, a tension unspooling within her that she hadn't fully acknowledged. Yet, her expression remained composed, the dignity of her position ever present. Your courage honors us, Luca. Your decision will be revered in the annals of both our worlds. With the decision made, the practicalities of their union needed to be addressed. Dr. Harrow, ever the scientist, discussed the necessary precautions and preparations. They would need to ensure that the biological and genetic blending would be safe and ideally beneficial for both. The process, he explained, would involve a series of compatibility tests that were as much about biology as they were about bridging two vastly different life essences. The preparations took place in a makeshift lab that Dr. Harrow had set up with equipment brought from his own facilities. The air was thick with anticipation and the sharp scent of sterilized equipment. Illyria and Luca underwent numerous tests, their blood and biometric data analyzed to create a harmonious union protocol. As they worked, Luca learned more about Illyria's world, about the celestial beauty of her planet, the cultural nuances of her people, and the dire circumstances that led to this unprecedented mission. He was struck by the parallels between their passion for preservation, hers on a galactic scale, his rooted in the Earth. This period of preparation also allowed for an unexpected development, the growth of mutual respect and understanding between them. What had started as a mission based on necessity was blossoming into a partnership that transcended the original intent. Illyria found herself admiring Luca's dedication and the depth of his commitment to his cause. Luca, in turn, was fascinated by Illyria's grace under pressure and her profound connection to her people. The day of the union arrived with a quiet solemnity. The forest around them seemed to stand guard, the ancient trees silent witnesses to this historic moment. Illyria and Luca met in the heart of the camp, their hands touching lightly, a symbol of their commitment to not only their respective causes but to the hopeful synthesis of their beings. The procedure was gentle, a fusion of advanced alien technology and the best of human medical science. Dr. Harrow monitored the process, his eyes flicking between the readouts and the two figures at the center of this quiet ceremony. The energy around them hummed, a tangible aura of interstellar connectivity that wrapped around them like a cocoon. When it was done, the world seemed no different on the surface, but for Luca and Illyria, the universe had shifted imperceptibly. They had become a bridge between worlds, their DNA the threads weaving a new tapestry of life. As they recuperated, resting side by side, Luca turned to Illyria, a smile playing on his lips. We've done something monumental, haven't we? Illyria returned the smile, her eyes reflecting the stars of her home. Yes, we have created a new hope, not just for my people but perhaps for all life. This is the legacy we now share. The forest resumed its natural sounds, the river continued its endless journey to the sea, and above them, the cosmos watched, perhaps in approval, as two beings from distant worlds charted a new path forward together. In the days that followed their profound union, the world did not pause. It spun forward with relentless momentum, yet for Illyria and Luca, each moment was a discovery, a gentle unfolding of shared realities and newfound connections. They remained in the rainforest, the site of their union, as they monitored the effects of their integration. Dr. Harrow, too, stayed, his scientific curiosity bound to the remarkable biological synthesis occurring before his eyes. The effects of their union were becoming visible, not just in physical manifestations but in subtler, more profound ways. Illyria noticed changes in her perceptions, her senses heightened in ways that human words struggled to encapsulate. For Luca, the transformation was equally mystifying. He felt a deepening of his connection to the natural world around him, an empathy that extended beyond the human experience, touching upon something universal. Meanwhile, news of their union had begun to ripple across the globe, spurred by whispers and leaks. The media swarmed with speculation and sensational headlines. Environmental groups hailed Luca as a visionary hero, while skeptics decried the ethics of his decision. Debates ignited over dinner tables and digital forums alike, humanity grappling with the reality of their new place in a wider cosmos. But for Luca and Illyria, these were distant echoes. They were focused on the immediate, on understanding the ramifications of what they had begun. With each passing day, their bond deepened, not just biologically but emotionally and intellectually. They shared long conversations under the starlit sky, discussions that danced around philosophy, science, and the future. Their talks often circled back to the potential impacts of their union on both their worlds. Illyria spoke of the hopes of her people, of the rejuvenation this could bring to her dying planet. Luca pondered the implications for Earth, how this newfound galactic relationship could propel human environmental and technological advancements. It wasn't long before they noticed the first tangible sign of their union's success. The data streaming in from Illyria's home world bore promising news. The decay that had plagued her planet was slowing, the life energy of their world showing signs of stabilizing. It was a small victory, but a victory nonetheless, and it fueled a cautious optimism. On Earth, changes were subtler. Luca found that he could communicate with Illyria in ways that transcended language, their thoughts and emotions intertwining through a shared psychic space that was a side effect of their genetic blending. This new ability amazed them, a silent conversation between minds that neither had anticipated. Their union, initially viewed as a necessity, was evolving into a profound exploration of what beings from different worlds could achieve together. It was a testament to the power of unity in diversity, a theme that resonated deeply with Luca's lifelong commitment to ecological preservation. As they prepared for their next steps, planning a public announcement to share their experiences and findings, Dr. Harrow busied himself with documenting everything. The scientific community awaited his reports with bated breath, eager for insights into this unprecedented melding of human and alien life. The day of the announcement arrived with a mix of anticipation and apprehension. As Luca and Illyria stood before a gathering of world leaders, scientists, and media, the air was electric with potential. They spoke not just of the science behind what they had achieved, but of the broader implications for peace, cooperation, and mutual understanding. Their message was clear. This union was not the end, but a beginning, a first step toward a larger universe where Earth was not isolated but part of a grander, interconnected community. They called for open dialogue, for plans to embrace this broader cosmic citizenship with responsibility and enthusiasm. As the assembly listened, the seeds of a new era were sown. The cosmos, once vast and inscrutable, seemed a little closer, a little more like home, as two species, once strangers, now stood united, their futures inexorably linked. The aftermath of their public announcement was a whirlwind. As governments and organizations worldwide grappled with the implications, Illyria and Luca found themselves at the center of a global dialogue that spanned from cautious optimism to fervent ideological debates. Their lives, once private, were now part of a larger narrative that every news outlet wanted to dissect. Amid the frenzy, an invitation came from the United Nations. They were asked to speak at a special session dedicated to extraterrestrial relations, a testament to the rapidly changing landscape of international politics and human understanding. Preparing for this event required careful thought. Every word they would say had the potential to sway global opinion. Luca took the lead in crafting their message, drawing on his years of advocacy for environmental causes. He understood the power of narrative, the need to frame their union not as an anomaly but as a harbinger of positive change. Illyria, with her intrinsic knowledge of interstellar dynamics, provided insights into how alliances could be formed based on mutual respect and shared goals. Their speech was broadcast live, reaching every corner of the planet. Luca's voice, steady and persuasive, outlined the scientific and ethical foundations of their union. Illyria, with her regal composure, spoke of her world's history, their struggles, and their hopes for this new relationship with Earth. The response was overwhelmingly positive, with many seeing this as a pivotal moment in human history. However, the path forward was fraught with challenges. Skeptics and fearmongers raised concerns about the potential for exploitation and the loss of human autonomy. These voices grew louder, fueled by uncertainty and the age-old fear of the unknown. To counteract the rising tide of skepticism, Illyria and Luca decided to establish an outreach program. They envisioned it as a platform for education and exchange, where experts from both worlds could share knowledge and foster understanding. They started by organizing symposiums and educational series, inviting experts in genetics, ecology, philosophy, and ethics to discuss the implications of interstellar relations. As part of their efforts to solidify this newfound alliance, Illyria proposed the creation of a bioplanetary council. This body would oversee the integration of Earth into a broader interstellar community, ensuring that both human and alien interests were represented fairly. The council would also function as a regulatory body, setting guidelines for the ethical treatment of interspecies interactions. The formation of the council was met with mixed reactions. While many hailed it as a progressive step toward global unity, others saw it as a relinquishing of Earth's sovereignty. Debates raged in political chambers and public forums, reflecting a divided world struggling to embrace a future that had once been the stuff of science fiction. Despite the controversies, Illyria and Luca continued their work, undeterred. They traveled together, visiting various countries and communities, sharing their story and the scientific breakthroughs that had come from their union. With each visit, they built a network of supporters and collaborators, eager to be part of this new chapter in human evolution. Their travels also allowed them to witness firsthand the cultural and ecological diversity of Earth. Illyria was particularly moved by the beauty of the natural world, seeing parallels between Earth's vibrant ecosystems and the celestial landscapes of her home. Luca, in turn, found a deeper appreciation for the struggles of other species, understanding more profoundly the universal challenges of survival and coexistence. Throughout this journey of advocacy and diplomacy, their bond continued to evolve. They had become not only partners in a historic endeavor but confidants and friends who had weathered the storm of public scrutiny together. Their relationship, built on a foundation of mutual respect and shared responsibility, stood as a symbol of what could be achieved when two vastly different beings chose to unite for a common cause. As the outreach program gained momentum, Illyria and Luca found themselves increasingly in the public eye, their every move watched and analyzed. The scrutiny was intense, yet it also provided a platform to showcase the tangible benefits of their union. They used this visibility to highlight advances in technology and ecology, demonstrating how alien knowledge could aid in solving Earth's most pressing issues. The Bioplanetary Council, now officially established, began its work in earnest. It convened in Geneva, in a specially designed forum that blended Earth architecture with elements inspired by Illyria's culture, a symbol of the integration that was taking place. Here, representatives from both worlds discussed protocols and projects, each meeting streamed live to ensure transparency and foster global involvement. One of the Council's first initiatives was the Terra-Xeno Alliance project, aimed at environmental restoration. Alien technology, which allowed for more precise manipulation of ecological processes, was introduced to Earth under strict guidelines. These technologies were first applied in areas most affected by climate change, where traditional human efforts had faltered. The results were promising. Deserts began to show signs of revitalization, and damaged coral reefs showed improved resilience. Public opinion started to shift more favorably as these projects provided concrete examples of how alien partnership could lead to global benefits. However, not everyone was convinced. Some groups argued that relying on alien technology was a crutch that diverted attention from human-driven solutions. Amidst these developments, Luca and Illyria continued to explore the deeper implications of their connection. They experimented with their shared psychic space, finding that it allowed them not just to communicate thoughts but to share experiences and emotions. This deepening understanding brought them closer, blurring the lines between individual and collective consciousness. They decided to document their experiences in a co-authored book titled Interstellar Synergy, A New Paradigm for Earth and Beyond. The book aimed to provide a first-hand account of their journey, the challenges they faced, and the broader implications of their union. It was an instant bestseller, sparking discussions in academic circles and among the general public about the potential of integrating human and alien perspectives. As the narrative of their story unfolded in the public domain, they began to receive invitations to speak at major universities and global conferences. Each appearance was an opportunity to educate and advocate for a united approach to interstellar relations. During these engagements, they emphasized the importance of mutual respect and the ethical considerations of such partnerships. Meanwhile, the ecological successes of the Terra-Xeno Alliance project led to the initiation of a second phase, the Shared Knowledge Program. This program was designed to facilitate an exchange of educational resources between Earth and Illyria's planet. It aimed to prepare the next generation for a future where such interstellar relationships would be commonplace. Schools across Earth began to incorporate modules on alien biology, cultural studies, and ethics into their curricula. Illyria's scientists contributed to these modules, ensuring that the content was accurate and respectful of both cultures. The impact on students was profound, with many expressing increased interest in STEM fields and intercultural studies. Illyria and Luca, seeing the seeds of their efforts bearing fruit, reflected on the path they had traveled. They realized that their initial mission had evolved far beyond its original scope. They were no longer merely emissaries of a desperate plea for survival but pioneers of a new era of cosmic cooperation. Their partnership had taught them the power of unity in diversity, the strength found in combining different perspectives to address universal challenges. As they looked forward to the future, they knew that the journey they had started would continue to unfold in ways they could not yet imagine, guided by the shared vision and commitment they had fostered together. The momentum of the Shared Knowledge Program heralded a new chapter in human and alien interaction, one marked by an unprecedented level of cooperation. As Earth's academic and research institutions began to integrate alien science into their curricula, a series of joint ventures between Earth and Illyria's scientists were launched, aimed at enhancing technological and ecological understanding across both worlds. These collaborations led to the establishment of the intergalactic research stations, facilities both on Earth and on strategic locations in space, designed to foster shared scientific endeavors. These stations were equipped with the latest technology from both worlds, creating hubs of innovation where researchers could work on projects that spanned disciplines from quantum physics to xenobiology. The first major breakthrough from these joint efforts was a new form of energy production that harnessed the unique properties of Illyrian crystals combined with human solar technology. This hybrid technology offered a cleaner, more efficient energy solution that could be used both on Earth and in space, reducing the reliance on fossil fuels and helping to combat the ongoing climate crisis. As the benefits of these collaborations became apparent, public support for the Bioplanetary Council's initiatives grew. Educational broadcasts and interactive workshops, where Earthlings could learn about Illyrian culture and vice versa, became incredibly popular, further solidifying the bond between the two species. Luca and Illyria, often at the forefront of these initiatives, found themselves becoming symbols of hope and unity. Their story was taught in schools as a case study in overcoming differences and working towards a common goal. Their book became a cornerstone of many university courses, discussed in the context of global diplomacy and interstellar ethics. The success of their partnership and the tangible benefits it brought to both worlds did not go unnoticed. Other alien civilizations, once wary of contacting Earth, began to show interest in establishing similar relations. The Bioplanetary Council, initially formed to oversee human-Illyrian interactions, expanded its mandate to facilitate dialogues with these new extraterrestrial entities. This expansion was not without its challenges. Each new civilization brought its own set of values, beliefs, and technological advancements, creating a complex mosaic of interstellar relations. The Council had to navigate these waters carefully, balancing the interests and welfare of all parties involved. To aid in these diplomatic endeavors, Illyria and Luca initiated the Galactic Peace Symposium, an annual event that brought together leaders, scientists, and thinkers from across the galaxy. The symposium served as a platform for discussing pressing cosmic issues, ranging from resource allocation to ethical governance, and for crafting policies that promoted peace and cooperation across the stars. As the symposium grew in scope and influence, it became a beacon for interstellar diplomacy, drawing attendees from distant worlds eager to share their knowledge and to learn from the successes and challenges of Earth's integration into the galactic community. Meanwhile, on a more personal level, Luca and Illyria continued to explore the depths of their shared connection. They found that their initial psychic link had matured into a more nuanced form of communication, allowing them to share not just thoughts but also emotions and sensory experiences. This deepened bond not only strengthened their personal relationship but also served as a powerful example of the potential for profound connections between beings from different worlds. Their journey, marked by both small steps and giant leaps, continued to inspire those around them. The legacy of their union, once rooted in necessity, had blossomed into a testament to the transformative power of cooperation and understanding, setting a precedent for a future where the diversity of life, whether terrestrial or extraterrestrial, could thrive together in harmony. As the Galactic Peace Symposium became an established fixture in interstellar diplomacy, the intricacies of negotiating between multiple alien civilizations came to the forefront. Each delegation brought with them not only different cultural backgrounds but also varying environmental needs and technological advancements. The challenge was not just to understand these differences but to find common ground that could foster lasting peace and mutual prosperity. In these delicate negotiations, Luca's expertise in environmental science and Illyria's diplomatic finesse proved invaluable. They often acted as mediators, bridging gaps between species with conflicting interests. Their unique blend of human emotion and alien logic allowed them to devise innovative solutions that respected the sovereignty and ecological needs of each civilization. During one of the symposium's key sessions, a tense debate unfolded over the management of a newly discovered asteroid belt rich in oraculum, a rare mineral with powerful energy properties. The debate highlighted the need for a universal mining protocol that would prevent resource depletion and ensure equitable distribution among the galactic community. Drawing on Earth's history of environmental mismanagement and the lessons learned, Luca proposed a model based on sustainability and shared benefits. Illyria, with her deep understanding of celestial mechanics, suggested a rotational mining system that would allow the asteroid belt to regenerate its resources. Their proposal was met with interest and, after intense discussions and amendments, was eventually adopted as a pilot project. The success of this initiative led to the establishment of the Interstellar Resource Management Office, IRMO, with representatives from participating civilizations. IRMO worked to implement and oversee the mining protocol, turning a potential source of conflict into a cooperative venture that benefited multiple worlds. Away from the political arena, Illyria and Luca continued to cultivate their personal relationship, which had grown in depth and complexity. They often visited each other's worlds, learning about each other's heritage and customs. During a visit to Illyria's planet, Luca was introduced to the Grand Archive, a vast repository of knowledge spanning millennia. The experience deepened his appreciation for Illyrian culture and their commitment to preserving knowledge as a communal asset. Similarly, Illyria's visits to Earth allowed her to engage more deeply with human culture. She participated in traditional festivals and public forums, where she shared insights from her world and learned from the diverse expressions of human creativity and resilience. Their exchanges were not limited to their own learning but extended to public engagements where they shared their experiences. They launched a series of intercultural dialogues broadcast across both Earth and Illyria's networks, which discussed everything from art and philosophy to technology and governance. These dialogues helped demystify the alien in each other's eyes, promoting a galactic culture of understanding and respect. As their work continued to weave a tapestry of interstellar relationships, Luca and Illyria found that their efforts were not just creating policies but shaping a new galactic ethos. They were building a legacy of interconnectedness that transcended planetary boundaries, advocating for a cosmos where the diversity of life was seen as a strength, not a threat. Their story, a testament to the power of unity and the potential of diverse beings working together, became a beacon of hope. It served as a reminder that peace was not merely the absence of conflict but the active creation of a shared future. As the stars continued to turn, their journey, rooted in both love and duty, remained a guiding light for all who believed in the possibility of a harmonious galaxy. The Galactic Peace Symposium had concluded for the year, leaving behind a palpable sense of progress and unity among the attending civilizations. The vision Luca and Illyria had shared for so long was no longer just an ideal but a reality being built across planets and systems. Yet, amid the triumphs, an urgent challenge arose that tested the very foundation of their efforts. A distant sector of the galaxy reported a devastating phenomenon: a star system destabilizing, its planets being slowly consumed by gravitational anomalies. The source was traced to an artificial device left behind by an extinct civilization, a relic of immense power and unknowable purpose. The destabilization threatened to ripple through neighboring systems, potentially cascading into disaster on an intergalactic scale. The Bioplanetary Council was convened in an emergency session. Representatives from dozens of worlds debated the best course of action. Some advocated for immediate destruction of the device, while others warned that tampering without understanding its mechanisms could worsen the situation. The discussions were heated, the stakes astronomical. Illyria and Luca were called to mediate. Their bond, symbolic and practical, had come to represent a balance of caution and boldness, of logic and compassion. Together, they proposed a daring solution, not to destroy the device, but to neutralize it using a synthesis of Illyrian energy modulation and human ingenuity. The plan required them to travel to the destabilized system themselves. They insisted on leading the mission, knowing their combined abilities and shared psychic connection gave them an unparalleled advantage in navigating the unknown. A coalition of scientists and engineers from both worlds accompanied them, forming a team united by the shared hope of averting catastrophe. Upon reaching the heart of the destabilized system, the sight was awe-inspiring and terrifying. The star at its center pulsed with erratic energy, its light fractured into chaotic patterns that played across the shattered remains of its orbiting planets. The device hovered near the dying star, an intricate lattice of alien technology emitting pulses that seemed to twist the very fabric of space. Illyria and Luca worked side by side, their minds aligned in perfect synchronicity. Illyria attuned to the device's energy signature, deciphering its patterns with the innate sensitivity of her species. Luca, drawing on his deep understanding of Earth's physics and engineering principles, devised a countermeasure to stabilize the pulses. Time was running out. The gravitational anomalies grew stronger, threatening to consume their ship and team. As the star's light dimmed, Luca and Illyria reached the final stage of their plan. The countermeasure required a direct interface with the device, a task that would expose them to immense physical and psychic strain. They chose to act together, their hands intertwined as they approached the pulsating core of the device. The energy coursed through them, a fusion of their unique essences resonating with the relic's ancient power. Their shared connection became a conduit, harmonizing the device's chaotic energy into a stable rhythm. The star calmed. Its light regained a steady brilliance, the fractured space around it knitting back together. The gravitational anomalies dissipated, and the system stabilized. Illyria and Luca collapsed, their energy drained but their mission accomplished. They awoke aboard their ship, surrounded by their team and the distant hum of a stabilized star system. The success of their plan reverberated across the galaxy, a testament to the power of unity and collaboration. When they returned to Earth and Illyria's homeworld, they were celebrated not as heroes of a single planet but as architects of a new era. Their actions had proven that the combined strengths of diverse species could overcome even the most insurmountable challenges. As they stood together beneath a shared sky, watching the stars that connected their worlds, Illyria turned to Luca, her voice soft but resolute. "What we've built will endure, even beyond us. Our bond, our efforts, they are threads in a tapestry that will only grow stronger." Luca smiled, his hand clasping hers. "The stars will remember, and so will we." Their legacy was not just in what they had achieved but in the hope they had ignited, a hope that would guide humanity and the galaxy toward a future defined not by division but by unity, not by fear but by understanding. As the stars shimmered above, their light carried a promise, that no matter how vast the universe, the connections forged within it could transcend all boundaries.